I am here in South Carolina to drive the all-new 2024 GMC Acadia. And today, I'm driving the AT4, the off-road oriented trim of the all-new Acadia. And what I'd like to do now is give you a tour of the exterior.
Motronics.
Let's first start with the shape. As you can see, the all-new third-generation Acadia is larger than its predecessor. It has grown in length, which is where the proportions have grown the most, but it also has grown in height as well as in width. Now the AT4 specifically, like I said, is the off-road oriented trim. As you can see, I've taken it off the beaten path quite a bit today already, and that's why it's dirty. Let's start at the front with some details. First and foremost, you have the grille, and this grille keeps up with the typical AT4 direction of having black accents along with these dark chrome style accents as well. You can see all the lines very nicely, intricately done within the grille. Big red GMC logo front and center, small AT4 logo here in the corner. Beyond that, you have the headlights with GMC's signature C-shaped outline here and the primary headlamp unit right there. The AT4 also features fog lights right here, and everything below this line essentially is specific and unique to the AT4, starting with the tow hooks right there and the entire lower air dam. If you take a look at that air dam here, it's actually cut quite a bit higher so as to enable a higher approach angle. So you can see just how it's styled here as opposed to the Acadia Denali and the Acadia Elevation, which have a different front air dam here. There is a set of red tow hooks here. These are functional tow hooks that you can use to get yourself or others out of trouble. And then below that, it's a bit difficult to see, but there are two skid plates, not just one, but two skid plates. An aluminum one in the front that protects the radiator and some components around it. And then there's another one behind it that is a steel skid plate that protects the essentially the bottom of the engine and the transmission. Then we have the hood here with some surface development taking place, essentially within two kind of these bulges, if you will, one here and the other here. It's a bit difficult to see on the white car here, but nonetheless it's there. The front end, in my opinion, looks very good. This is a great execution of the AT4 trim level for the Acadia, and that takes us to the side. And at the side, we see all kinds of things taking place. First and foremost, we see that the Acadia AT4 sits higher than your typical Acadia Denali or the Acadia Elevation. It sits 1 inch higher because of two things. One, the suspension lift, and two, the larger diameter tires. Both of those combine to enable a 1 inch higher stance overall. But not only does the 2024 Acadia AT4 sit higher, but it also actually is wider. It has a wider track than the Denali and then the Elevation. From there, let's take a look at what's taking place with the wheels. So you have this plastic air dam, black, right? That theme continues throughout the entire vehicle. So you can see it starts there at the air dam, and then it wraps the wheel wells, goes there, runs the wheelbase, and then comes back around the rear wheel before going out towards the rear fascia. This part is actually black. This is gloss black. We'll get to that in a second. Back to the wheel here. So the wheel, this is an 18-inch wheel, and it is wrapped in a Goodyear Wrangler Territory AT tire. This is an all-terrain tire that is 265/65 R18 in size. This is also a TPC spec tire, meaning that this tire compound isn't just your typical off-the-shelf Goodyear Wrangler Territory AT tire. No, this is actually a compound that was developed in conjunction with GMC and Goodyear specifically for the 2024 Acadia AT4. The wheel is essentially black, but it also has some silver accents on the face of the wheel. A nice center cap here with the red GMC logo is present and accounted for. Treating the wheel is this little bit. So this is an accent light that is unique to the Acadia AT4. No other 2024 Acadia trim, including elevation or Denali, get these little accent lights. They're present and accounted for here just for looks. This is done purely for aesthetics. And in my opinion, these actually make the Acadia AT4 look really, really good. They really make the vehicle pop. Just take a look at how great they look. Now, they are amber when the car is running and the lights are on, but when the lights are off, they actually are neutral density, meaning they're kind of this clear color. All right, from there, check out the front fenders. I am also a fan of the way that GMC designers integrated some detailing into the headlamp as well as into the fog lamp. So check this out. It has this nice little pattern here and a GMC logo right there. Same thing is repeated at the exterior end of the fog lamp, the same pattern that's up here. If you back up a bit and check out how that looks, this actually makes the vehicle look very, very, very nice. We have gloss black mirror cap, built-in turn signal indicator. There is a camera here on each mirror, and there's also one that I didn't mention here at the very front. There it is. These cameras help with the surround vision and the various camera views that the 2024 Acadia offers. From there, the doors and the entire greenhouse. Check that out real quick. This is where you can see that the Acadia has really grown in size compared to the outgoing last generation model. This is quite a bit longer, and the greenhouse is the best example of that. As you can see, the greenhouse is treated with piano black accents, so runs all the way around the entire DLO, or the daylight opening. The pillars have a gloss black trim as well. There it is. And then we have the door handles. The door handles, each of which has a keyless access button on all four doors, meaning that GMC is not cutting corners by only installing these in the front two doors. It's actually installing these in all four doors, which is great news. The doors, ironically, are not unique to the 2024 Acadia. In fact, both the front and the rear doors, as well as their entire shape, are actually shared with the 2024 Acadia's two platform mates, the 2024 Chevy Traverse as well as the 2025 Buick Enclave. Nevertheless, they do look good on the Acadia. There is some surface development that takes place via this little crease here that runs kind of the length of the doors. You can see that there. There's another crease running the length of the doors here, and then another one down here. AT4 badge present and accounted for on the doors, in case you ever do forget that you're driving an AT4. Speaking of the doors are actually quite large, especially at the rear. Check out the size of this door. It's almost longer, I would say, than the front door, and that is for a reason. That is to enable easy entry and exit from the Acadia, especially into the second row, but also into the third row when you have this second row folded and out of the way. Let's take a look at the roof. We have some gloss black roof rails for attaching roof racks and such here. Towards the back, we have a comms fin right there, dead center at the rear end. This handles Sirius XM communications as well as OnStar 4G LTE signals. And then at the rear, the gloss black treatment carries over into this area here, the molding. There's also this built-in spoiler right here. Check that out. Looks good, making the Acadia look a bit longer than it actually is, while also helping out in the aero department as well. More gloss black treatment around the tail lamps here, running through here into the actual lift gate here. Check that out. The way that the tail lamps, these are C-shaped tail lamps, as you can see. The way that the tail lamps are treated are actually quite nice because they are integrated almost perfectly into the rear applique and the rear fascia here of the Acadia. Check out the way that they're almost seamlessly integrated into this part of the vehicle. There is the CHMSL, the center high mounted stop lamp right here. There is also the lens for the rear camera mirror and a washer for it as well. That's integrated into this module here. Rear wiper present and accounted for. GMC logo here, AT4 logo there, and Acadia all-wheel drive badging over here. There is also another camera right here. This is for the backup camera. So this one powers the rear camera mirror, which is located up here. Let me show you that. That's the rear camera mirror. And then the rear view camera shows up in the display when you actually put the Acadia into reverse gear. And then below all that, we have the rear fascia. And a few things are taking place here, including this black part here that I mentioned earlier. That gets carried over from the front, as well as the wheel well wrap and the wheelbase. So that's this upper part right there. This lower part is gloss black. So it's the same kind of black that's used here. It's a little dirty, the car, you can see after some off-roading. So this part is gloss black. You have a cutout here for the hitch receiver there. And then below all that, you do have the exhaust. So this, as you can see, is a quad tipped exhaust. Really, it's dual exhaust, but there are 4 tips. And from what I know, engineers actually spend a good amount of time working on integrating this quad tipped exhaust into the Acadia. This was no small feat, just based on the packaging constraints at the rear end of the Acadia. And so there you have it, ladies and gents, the all new 2024 GMC Acadia AT4. Like I said, this is all new for the 2024 model year. The overall vehicle is bigger, but this is also a much better execution, in my opinion, of the AT4 trim level in the Acadia than it's ever been before. For GMAuthority.com and the Metrolix Network, I'm Alex Luft. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Motrolix.